Hi, gang. You're listening to Burlesque Unleashed. My name is Dinah.
And I'm Isla Storm, and here we discuss the latest dilemmas, deliberations, and dramas in the burlesque world.
I always have to do a wee dance. We chat about different topics every month and share our views on them.
This was a listener request from the fabulous Pixel Dust on the old Patreons. This episode comes with a little trigger warning. We are going to be discussing body image today, and obviously that might come with some topics that might be difficult or triggering for people. We're going to touch on body dysmorphia and potentially eating disorders, that kind of thing. So if that's a particular issue for you, you might want to skip this one. So use your own discretion and keep yourself safe.
Yes, and if need be, we will see you at the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But we shall get into it. This is an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
One that we've talking about for a while because it got requested a while ago.
Yeah.
And we were like, right, okay, this is going to be a chunky one, I think, for
Mm-hmm.
various different reasons. I think let's start with it's interesting because burlesque is seen as like any body type can do it. Any
Mm-hmm.
body type can do it. That is not to say that there is not a bit of a hierarchy.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't get away with the fact that most of the people that are at the top of this game are skinny. They have larger boobs quite a lot of the time. Fake
Mm-hmm.
ones. They're very slim. They're either tanned or like we've got some
Or
Latino kind
super
of at the top
pale.
of them,
Yeah.
or super pale. Um, there is very much an image in your head that you can see,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be hard when you think like, oh, if I want to be super successful, I have to look like that.
Yeah. And I think we've touched on this in a few topics. I feel like the kind of industry versus the community viewpoint comes into this because, like you say,
Mm-hmm.
anyone can do burlesque.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, even if you look at within the community at the top level, in Behoff winners, Behoff contestants, things like that, people that are, the top of their game within the performer community, it is really diverse. There are, some badass plus size babes. There are,
Yep.
non-binary, there are more mass presenting, there's all different types of bodies, and it's what they do on the stage that's important. But if you're looking at, for example, your more corporate commercial type things, they essentially want that tall skinny dancer standard
Yep.
with bigger boobs.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
that's it.
that's where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact from speaking to them that there are people at the absolute top of their game in terms of what we would determine the top in the community that don't get corporate work because they don't
Yep.
fit that very
Mm-hmm.
specific ideal: tall, skinny, white,
Yep.
able-bodied, cis femme.
Yep. Yep. And that's knowing that reality is hard. And also, just even if that's not the reality that you know, going on stage and performing with women who we all look very different, you
Mm.
can't help. We have been bred and brought up to compare, right?
Millennial curse.
Yeah, we grew up in heroin chic and it's fucking
Mm.
back. Which is we've got on to that, but it can be difficult knowing that you're going to go on stage after someone who is, I've never had a flat stomach in my life. I have a pouch, and that's just the way my body's built. Even when I was terrifyingly skinny, I had a pouch.
Mm.
But and that's an insecurity of mine. So then when I'm on stage and you're following someone who's like toned flat stomach, and then I'm going on with like strappy underwear that's going to show my bits a bit more, that can be it's very easy to get in your own head.
Yeah. And I think it can feel quite exclusionary as well. And I'm going to be careful in the way that I say this because I'm recognizing my privilege as a cis, femme, straight sized person. I'm like, a small size 12 on a good day. um, I'm very aware that like in I don't fit the commercial body ideal,
Mm-hmm.
but I am in no way what you would consider plus size or a marginalized body in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are also great communities for that. And like I say, there is there's is it glorified, there's big fat cabaret, there
Yeah.
are, within the industry, within the scene, sorry, within the kind of community, we embrace all body types because that's what burlesque is about to us.
Mm-hmm.
However, in certain types of the industry, even if you're just outside of that ideal, you're excluded from the benefits of being in that specific ideal, but you don't get the community support
Yeah.
of being in the kind of more obviously marginalized.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of, yeah, you're sort of average slim to mid-sized bodies, you kind of get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah, and
definitely
I'm the
found,
same.
I've like you say, I've never really had a flat stomach. It's just not in my genetics. That's where my
Mm-hmm.
body likes to store fat. I always end up with like my arms and legs love to be toned, and then I just have squishy belly, and that's
Same.
just something that I've always struggled with. However, doing burlesque helped me to overcome that, and it's not something that I like. I used to look at pictures, and that was the only thing I could see,
Mm.
and I don't do that anymore. And burlesque has massively, massively helped with that. However, I would be lying if I didn't, if I said that I didn't sometimes think, oh, if I lost like a stone,
Mm.
could I start getting some of those gigs
Yeah.
that I know, I don't get because I'm just a little bit too chubby for them.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
even
gross.
there's festivals, you look at the lineup and you're like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Like it's all skinny white women.
Yeah.
Um, and not necessarily just white, but it does tend to be skinny white women.
Yeah.
And
And they're
again,
notionally community shows.
yeah. Um, but you definitely see it there as well, and you're like, "Pff, okay, or the ones that win all the competitions look a particular way.
Yeah.
That is changing. We've talked like that's been a big thing across the world, but it does still exist in some places as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be difficult to not get sucked into. I think something that's super normalized, and I don't have an issue with it because I've done it, is plastic surgery, Botox, all that kind of stuff as well, is very, very normalized
Yeah.
in burlesque. There's nothing wrong with it. But you do need to be careful that you don't get sucked into a hole of doing loads of it.
Well, it's like, why are you doing it as well? I also don't
Yeah.
have a problem with people doing loads of it. It's, customize your avatar.
Yeah,
I have
I'm
tattoos,
fucking
I have
covered in
piercings.
tattoos.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We both have colored hair that is unnatural colors. I have implants. I got a boob job after
Hmm.
I started doing burlesque. I don't mind talking about it. That is something that burlesque encouraged me to bite the bullet and do it. I did not do it because of burlesque, and I didn't
Yeah.
do it to fit a particular ideal. It was a insecurity that I'd always had, and I was
Yeah.
always like, oh, I would like to do that. But again, it was even once I started burlesque, the first couple of years, I was kind of like, oh, is that anti burlesque? Is that anti body positive?
Mm.
To go, I have this thing about myself that I want to change, rather than embracing the way that I was made, because it's not something I could have done anything like about, right? It's not
No.
something I could fix with diet or exercise or anything. I had to have surgery in order to change that if I wanted to change it. um and one of the things, and like we've touched on this before about this kind of the norm or the ideal, and the language around burlesque is often emphasizing femininity and
Hmm.
the physical embodiment and the image of femininity, and that is often its curves, right?
Yeah.
We hear this from people that are not in the burlesque scene that go, oh my goodness, there is, real bodies that are just like me, and that erases, skinnier people or people that don't
Yeah.
have curves, as well as erasing larger bodies You know,
Yep.
it's like, again, it's trying to fit people into a very, very narrow, specific ideal. We want you curvy, but like not too curvy, but
Mm-hmm.
also slim. But if you're too
Mm-hmm.
slim, then you lose your curves. So then
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, that went on a bit of a tangent there.
No, it's only
Again,
it's
that you know, it was a thing even before I did burlesque where I was like, oh, I don't feel feminine because I don't
mm,
have boobs.
yeah.
And yeah, like I won't claim to completely understand the trans experience, but a small part of it, I'm like, yeah, I get how it feels to have a body that feels like it doesn't identify the way that you do.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, I was like, oh, I'm a bit of a tomboy. And like when I first got into burlesque, I was like, I'm probably going to do comedy because I can't do sexy. Because
Mm,
I felt like I couldn't see myself as
yeah.
feminine and sexy because I didn't have something that is very characteristic of a woman's body.
Yep.
And I cannot explain how much of my time is no longer spent
Mm,
chewing on all those thoughts.
yep.
So, yeah, plastic surgery is great.
This is the thing, I don't have a problem. So I've never had plastic surgery, but I did have Botox and fillers for a while. I've since had it all like dissolved
Mm,
and done. Um, the I will say I do think being in burlesque sort of prompted it in a weird way. It was more you get your photo taken all the time, you're looking
yeah.
at photos of yourself all the time. If you're in the wrong headspace or if you're noticing something constantly that's bothering you, like for me, it was wrinkles on my forehead.
Mm.
Now I just have a fringe, it's so much easier. But
Just hide
just have
it.
a fringe. Um, but I've got like there's a really thick line on my forehead, like a really heavy
Mm,
line. And it's partly because my face is so expressive. And so I got Botox to get rid of it. But obviously that limited the expressionness of my upper, which is why I've stopped.
yeah.
And I got jawline and chin filler for a while because I've always felt like I don't have a particularly defined line between like my neck and my jaw. Like the light in this on this Zoom is doing a lot of work.
I was going to say, it's looking pretty chiseled today.
Yeah, it's it's not. And the light's doing a lot of work. It's a lot more like there's not really anything defining it there. It's just the light.
Mm,
And when I'm on stage and stuff, I now just use contour to
yeah.
make it look more. So I had all that done, and then eventually I got it all dissolved because it got to the point where actually I had dysmorphia in my face.
Mm,
It wasn't my face. I've
yeah.
talked before about Heart of Ireland Burlesque Festival. I was competing. I fucked that performance because I had total dysmorphia about my face backstage.
Yeah.
I put my wig on and I don't know what happened, but I just felt like I didn't want anyone to look at my face. And when you're about to go on stage and perform, and one of the most important parts is your facial expression,
Yeah.
not wanting people to look at your face
What's the problem?
is not how you do a good performance. I'm just going to put that out there. So I fucked that performance entirely
Mm,
because I was so concerned. I was so in my own head about my face, and I realized, and I got it dissolved not long afterwards because I realized that's what it was. And I had done a photo shoot when I had it done, and I don't really like the photos because it doesn't
yeah.
look like me.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's the only thing is doing that felt accessible because I'm seeing loads of other people doing it, and I thought that would make me feel better.
Yeah.
It
It used to be
didn't.
so taboo, didn't it?
Yeah.
You didn't talk
Um,
about it.
it didn't make me feel better, and I suppose that's the thing. Like, if you're doing it and it's don't not making you feel better, don't do it. If
Don't
it
do it.
is
Yeah.
like for yourself, fucking great.
Yeah.
But there's a point of why are you doing it
Yeah.
also?
I was going to say it comes down to the reasons why, doesn't it? And like it's the same with I feel like allowing myself to do something for myself that I knew was going to take away something that actually took up a lot of headspace, a lot of energy, a lot of emotional energy in my life that I've now got back. I just put clothes on or don't and carry on about my day. That didn't used to be the case. I had to do
Yeah.
so many, jump through so many hoops to feel all right with myself.
Yeah.
And it's very telling when you watch my burlesque acts, the timeline of where, you know, the ones that were
Mm,
pre-surgery and the ones that are post-surgery, when the bra comes off.
yeah.
It used to
Yeah.
be like, boom, the end, bye.
Now
Don't
you're
look.
like 10 minutes of looking at my
Literally.
teeth.
I have multiple acts where like there's a good minute or two.
I'm specifically thinking your red one when I know you're just like,
That was,
you
yeah.
gonna you gonna
What was
pay
it?
for
Ginger
me?
Valentine said, titty respect.
Have you seen the God, this is gonna go out in July. We're recording this
Mm.
in May, and this is gonna be outdated by then, but have you seen the sound going around? It's like sometimes the outfit is just tits.
Titty, the outfit is breast. The
The
main
outfit is
event.
just titty,
Yeah.
titty, 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 titty. I'm like, yeah.
But again, like a few years ago, that would have sent me into a spiral because I'd be
Mm,
like, oh, I don't, that doesn't apply
yeah.
to me.
My boobs have got a
Um,
bit, my boobs have kind of, they're like down here these days. They're starting to droop, but I honestly don't give a shit. I'm like, whatever. Um, I think the biggest thing for me, with burlesque, something that did happen when I started burlesque, is it triggered my eating disorder worse than it was.
mm,
So I've talked about this before online. I basically had an eating disorder for about 17 years. During lockdown, finally admitted it and dealt with it. Um, it's not necessarily diagnosed eating disorder so much as it was disordered eating.
mm,
I ate 1,400 calories a day. Um, I would work out for about 3 hours a day on various different, yeah. And I walked everywhere when I was in the
mm,
office. I would walk like, and then I would go to classes and I'd work out. And then when I started dance, because that was a different type of stuff I'd been doing before, it was more cardio. I lost weight again. And there's photos of me just before lockdown where talking about boobs, when I lose weight, my boobs are like, I volunteer as tribute, right? They just go. They just go.
yeah.
Um, but I was so focused on, again, I was talking earlier, I was like, but I still had a stomach. And I wanted a flat stomach. And I got really slim. It's not as slim as I've been. The slimmest I was 24, I think, 23, 24. And I was really not well then either. And I've had to kind of like overcome that. And now I'm like, I'm actually the same way I was kind of 2018,
Mm,
but in a healthier way. Like I'm more muscle now. And
yeah.
it's taken me years to get there. Um, and that was a whole thing as well because I put on quite a lot. When you go from eating 1,400 calories a day to eating 1,800 calories a day, you will put on weight and you will
Mm,
put on weight really fucking quickly. And that was really hard as well. Um, but being in an environment where you're showing your body all the time and people are looking at your body all the time and you're having to have costumes fitted and stuff,
yeah.
you become super aware of your own measurements.
It is something you do have to learn to navigate, though, isn't it? Because it's like,
Hmm.
this is something I think about as well, is although it can be, burlesque can be very healing and it can promote that kind of body acceptance, the stage is not your therapy. And I think that's
No.
something you can work out in class. That's something you can work out, you know, from watching shows and in your own internal kind of what's going on. But I think sometimes people do get sucked into this kind of like needing burlesque to be their healing and be their validation. And then they're not a positive energy to be around backstage for one.
No. No. And
And they
that can
maybe
be in all ways.
bring body chat into the backstage, which is where we don't need it. We need to be feeling, you can stress about your performance or be like, ah, this fucking costume's
But you
broken.
don't, it's really hard if like the skinniest person in the room has been like, oh my God, I feel so fat today.
Yeah, it doesn't help
Or
anybody.
no, or the biggest person in the room being like, well, you guys are all really skinny. Like none of
Yeah.
this helps. Like I've had to say this to my I don't go anymore, not for any reason other than I don't fucking time. My pole teacher, she's just muscle and she'd come in and be like, I feel really fat today and I'm like, where?
Yeah.
Like that's
Literally
not and
where.
I'm friends with her and I'd be like, it's not a helpful thing to say, mate.
Mm.
Like it's just not. And she's like, but that's how I feel and I'm like, valid. I was like, but
Wait,
remember the environment you're in.
yeah, that's not, yeah, speak to somebody in your personal life.
If
Surely you've
someone's a
got a
friend
friend.
backstage and you say it to
Yeah,
them quietly, be like, I'm just having one of those days where I feel so fucking bloated. That's fine, but don't like
bring
announce
that
it to the
energy
room.
to the, yeah,
Because if you're the skinniest person in the room and you're like, oh my God, I feel so fat today, what do you think the person next to you feels? If
yeah,
they're bigger than you in any way, shape, or form? Like,
yeah. And also not erasing other people's struggles. Like you say, if, if someone's like, oh, I don't really like my body today, and someone else is like, what are you talking about? Mine is worse, that kind of like
doesn't help.
competitive negativity.
That doesn't help either.
You'd be like, oh my God, you're gorgeous. Don't be silly. But, being like, you can't possibly be struggling because I have more struggles than you. Let's just, everybody has privilege, everybody has struggles, and they're all different,
Mm-hmm.
right? Nobody's
Mm-hmm.
is more than or less than. It entirely depends on the scenario, the people involved, the day, what
Yeah.
everyone's mood is.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is no, yeah, yeah,
It's hard. It's so hard because again, your genetics plays a part in how you look as
yeah,
well. Some people are just naturally slimmer, some people are naturally bigger. You hold your weight in different places. Some people have got bigger tits, some people have got smaller tits, some people have got
mm-hmm.
a massive ass, some people don't have an ass and they want everyone wants what they don't have as
Yep,
well. That's the funniest fucking thing to me when you talk to people about bodies. Because
mm-hmm.
like obviously you wanted bigger tits. Someone who's got bigger tits is probably like, fuck me, I hate
Yeah,
these. Right? Um other folk will say, "Oh, I don't really have an ass," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you could probably get jeans to fit you really easily, whereas getting jeans to fit me is a pain in the arse." And I don't
yeah,
particularly have a big arse, but like it's still a pain because of my waist to arse ratio is
mm-hmm.
fucked. Um,
Yeah. Regular clothes are not made for everybody's proportions, even if they're
yeah,
made for your size.
yeah. Oh, don't even get me started on fucking size of clothes. Oh, good man
what
about
are
that for about a
what are
month.
women's clothing sizes? What are they? Who knows? Voodoo.
Fucking just pick a size. Just
Yeah.
pick a number, mate. That's how I go.
Just use measurements.
Oh, I think something else that some people have touched on, I think, previously when we talk about bodies is, and I talk about this a lot, your body changes after your 30s.
Yeah.
You hit your 30s, your body changes again. And I think when you're comparing, we're in our 30s, comparing your body to people who are on the scene who are 22, 23, 24, 25, we're not really going to look like that without probably doing ourselves some damage or not
Mm,
good or having to basically not work and be in the gym all the time.
yeah.
Like,
I was gonna say, like, we don't all have the same. This is like we've talked about this with like skill and things and rehearsing. We don't all have the same starting point, and we don't all have the same resources.
hmm
So, like, again, this may be a part of the factor that goes into some of the people at the top of their scene who do fit the body ideal. They are also usually full time.
yeah,
Therefore, they're not off, they're less likely to be work. I'm not saying none of them because a lot of them do work day jobs and things, but maybe they are less likely to be working a day job, or more of their work is involved in, teaching or rehearsing, and they can go to the gym during the
they're
day.
moving all the time.
Yeah, they have more control over what they eat and things like that. Whereas if you're working, a full-time job and squeezing in gigs around it, you've only got so much time that you can allot to fitness, or if you
Yep.
want to change your body, there's only so much that you can do.
hmm And that's yeah, and that kind of plays into it as well. I think it can be. I see a lot of people who do see it as very like I go up on stage and I embrace who I am, and that's amazing. I am probably as a way to deal with my eating disorder, I'm probably quite detached from that when I'm on stage now. I'm not really thinking about what my body looks like, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, I'm more concerned about the act,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's because it's the prime example of when I absolutely fucked it because I got in my own head too much about how I looked. So I've had to sort of detach from that a bit when I'm on stage.
Yeah.
I go to the gym a lot. I take care of myself. That's just a personal thing though, as I'm getting older. I'm aware that if I don't look after myself, I'm going to struggle when I'm even older. I want to be fit, healthy enough to do
Yeah.
the things I want to do more than anything else. Um, and I can't really I don't really weigh myself or anything anymore. It's all just like how do things fit?
Yeah,
Because
I
that
haven't
just
weighed myself in ages. I just look at how I look and feel and how things
yeah,
fit.
how do things fit? How do things look? Am I like for me? Am I lifting stronger in the gym? Am
Yeah,
I
am I strong? Am I flexible? Can I do the things that I want to do? That thing that was going around the other day. I've done the choreography in my head. Now is it physically possible?
the answer to that's categorically no every time.
In my head,
Most
I'm amazing. And then I go, oh my God, no, you've never been able to do that. Why would you think you could choreograph that move?
what gets me is I think I can do all of this in like
Hmm.
8 beats, and
Yeah,
you're like, it's
yeah.
physically not possible.
What is time?
You can't do it that fast. But in my head, I'm like, but I did
Yeah,
it. I
can't do
think
it.
something that's come back as well with a fucking vengeance is the rise of heroin chic, of
Mm,
Ozempic bodies, of there's no reason to be fat anymore, putting all of this in because, oh, you can just take this or that or whatever and be skinny. And there's now, again, we wouldn't categorize in this, we wouldn't be in this kind of category, but you can see it where there's becoming this judgment of, well, why are you bigger? Because
yeah.
you can easily not be anymore.
Hmm. And that's so damaging
It's so damaging.
because why do we all, again, it's this why do we all want to look the same?
But also, why do we like? Why do you want to be that skinny all the time? Like, if you did you see
Yeah.
the picture of is it Demi Moore?
Is this the, oh, she looks toned?
Yeah, she's a fucking skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't do anything with that level of like, also, they must be freezing.
so cold. I remember being
Yeah.
freezing when I was really really skinny,
Yeah.
but the rise of Ozempic is really fucking things up again.
Yeah. And we really don't know the long term effects of it because it hasn't been used in non diet. Because let's face it, it's diabetes medication. That's what it's for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been used in people who are non diabetic for long enough to know what the really long term implications are. And also, like, I think it's a very good tool. I know some people that are like, it has really helped,
Yeah.
with modifying their food intake and changing their eating habits and things like that. But I think with anything, you can be a reliance on it, right?
My little sister, so it's actually anecdotally got it can treat PCOS symptoms. So my
Mm,
little sister takes it for PCOS
mm-hmm,
symptoms. It's helped her loads.
mm.
So again, I don't, there's not a problem with it existing. The problem is the societal shift that it is causing,
That that's
where
what you should be doing, and if you're
that's
not,
what you
why are
should
you
look.
choosing to
Yeah,
look like that?
it's now we are glorifying these bodies again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ariana Grande is another one that's a perfect example. Since the first Wicked film came out, and if anyone was, I wasn't, but I do remember seeing this back in the Tumblr days. She was on anorexia Tumblr.
Yeah,
So she has a history of this kind of behavior,
yeah.
and that's exactly what's happening again.
And again, it's
And
like there's not, for anyone to comment on anyone's bodies and things like that, but like if there's something going on that's not good for her, then we shouldn't be glorifying that.
that's
Yeah,
genuinely my problem with all of this stuff is that we are glorifying it. Just don't comment on it. You don't
yeah.
like, but we're not. We're putting it in. It's on the newspapers and it's online and we're going back to like, oh, this person looks fat because they're having a slightly bloated day, or it's a terrible camera angle that they've been taking photos of. Like,
Mm,
It feels like the 90s again.
It's just picking people apart, isn't it? Well, look at Kelly Osbourne. It's no, I'm pretty sure they've spoken about being on Ozempic.
Yeah.
However, she obviously is very, very slim at the moment
Hmm.
and has openly been like, I just lost my fucking dad.
Yeah.
I'm not well, can't
Yeah.
eat. Like that happens. And it's not helpful for people to be like, how much skinnier is she gonna get? What's she doing? Blah blah blah. She's like, leave me alone. Like I've gone through a trauma.
And the other way, sometimes people put on a lot of weight.
Yeah.
That's also fucking fine. Like, we have to stop. There is one person in the past 6 months that I asked them about weight loss, and it's because it came from a space of, I literally said it of, normally I wouldn't say this, but I just want to ask, are you okay? Because you look
Mm,
like you've lost a lot of weight from last time I saw you.
yeah.
Um, Normally I wouldn't comment, but I was genuine. There was a bit of it was coming from a concern angle. I was like, "Are you
Sure.
okay? Okay, cool." The rest of the time, I don't say anything. If someone's put
Yeah.
on weight or lost weight or whatever,
Because it's their choice, or it might not be their choice, and then it doesn't help to be like, why?
but you also, again, growing up with that era of when I was really skinny and not well, folk would be like, "Oh my God, you look amazing,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "That's not helpful either,"
Yeah.
because it feeds my brain gremlins.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had that. Like when I was at my absolute skinniest, it was because I was going through a lot of emotional trauma. And I stopped eating for like 4 months. Like I was at first year of uni. I was in halls. My friends would drag me to each meal, and I would eat three mouthfuls, and then I would be like, "I have eaten. Can I go back to my bed?" You know. And I
Mm.
lost like a stone and a half, 2 stone, something like that. And even I have looked at photos from that time and been like, "Oh, I look good." But I was not well, and I had no muscle, I had no energy, I had no nothing.
Mhm.
My skin was really dry. Like I just had no nutrients because I was only skinny because I wasn't well.
But you do. I've done it as well. I've looked at photos and been like, oh, I look amazing there, and then I'm like, I was fucking miserable.
Yeah, I was not happy.
I was so sad. Like
Yeah. Like
being,
people's appearance does not tell you their health or physical or mental health.
mm-mm. And honestly, having been on stage and stuff, people a lot of the time don't comment on they comment on my act. They don't
Yeah.
comment on my body.
Yeah.
I think because it can be, if you are sort of aware of maybe parts of your body that are maybe different from how other people's looks or are a bit unusual, or like, I don't know, you've lost lots of weight and then you've
Yeah.
got saggier bits or whatever, like, or you're older and your boobs are dripping, like mine's are apparently, it's mostly because I don't wear bras on a day to day, I'm not gonna lie, it's my fault.
Free the
Um,
nipple.
Breathing nipple. See, since I started working from home, I'm like,
Just like, who cares?
don't know what that is. Um, it's about remembering that, like, someone out there in that audience has probably got a body similar to yours as well, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, cool!" Like, you're showing them. I think that's a big thing when we talk about anyone can do it, and it's about body acceptance. I think that you can help your audience
Mm-hmm.
see themselves, and I think
Because
that's where it's powerful.
because they've seen so many spheres, and like, what's the image that most people have of burlesque? It's Dita Von Teese. She
Hmm.
tiny and curvy and
Hmm.
very, very milk white pale,
Yeah.
very polished.
Hmm.
And most people don't look like that. But they'll go to see a local burlesque show, not even a local one, just maybe they'll go to a burlesque festival that's more varied, and they'll
Hmm.
be like, "Oh my god, there's people that look like me or that I identify with parts of, their appearance or their personality or their whatever,
Hmm.
and they go, I didn't realize that this could be celebrated in the same way that beautiful, skinny, curvy, sparkly can be."
And even going into like boylesque or male presenting performers as well, like, I certainly feel this. I feel like this year in particular, we're seeing a rise of like six packs
Yeah.
everywhere, everywhere. I feel like obviously body dysmorphia for male presenting bodies has always existed, but I feel like it's fucking worse.
Mm,
I feel like the body standard is insane for them as well. Like I go to the gym and there's like literal kids, like 12, 13, 14-year-old boys in there lifting.
that's
And I'm
crazy.
like, go outside and play football. Why are you
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
And they're all trying to get six packs. And I'm like, is this like, we're not just fucking up girls anymore.
Mm, it's everybody.
So when guys get to maybe get dragged along by their female partners and see a boy on do see a man on stage doing burlesque, and again their body is not that, I like it's something
Yeah, maybe they're a
different
bit
that can
hairy,
be.
or they've got a bit of a beer belly, or they're skinny, being like,
That
oh,
must be quite nice as well, because the standard just now is I saw something about it the other day and it was like even in the 90s, at least for men,
mm,
it was a bit of hair and it wasn't like a visible six pack. Whereas now it's insane.
yeah, the whole looks maxing thing.
Don't get me started on that. I'll rant about it for about a month. Then I'll let one of my favorite. I'm like, but I do feel like we have to. I think that's something to acknowledge as well, as it doesn't just affect female presenting
No,
performers or like it. This the way that things are going is presenting is affecting everyone again.
yeah, and again, it's forcing binaries and it's forcing specific boxes that they're trying to like shoehorn people into, which is like the antithesis of what burlesque is all about.
Yeah, that's right. I just think it's like the rise in conservatism that we're seeing,
Yeah,
like the
because
rise
again,
of
we
this
have
is what
people
a
that are,
man's body looks like, and this
yeah,
is what a woman's. Because I'm hearing a lot more. You'll remember this, but growing up in the 90s, it was like, oh, you wanted to be toned, not muscly as a woman.
oh yeah, you can't be too muscular because then you look manly.
And that's where the rise of
Bullshit.
Pilates has come about, because it's about being toned.
Small. Yeah.
Petite and flexible.
And then you look at performers like Foxy Lexi, super strong,
Stunning.
just, yeah, carved out of stone. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, really? You're going to try and tell me that that's not an incredible body?
Insane. Insane body.
Yeah. But again, we all have different preferences. We all have different tastes. We all have different likes, and there shouldn't be this one ideal for, that's what it feels like it's forcing. There's one ideal for men and there's one ideal for women. And then we'll just pretend that non-binary people just don't exist.
Yeah.
And it upsets me that that is very much like the commercial side of burlesque.
Mm.
Very fits that. And often they don't even care about the performance, right? They just want a tall, skinny girl that'll fit the costume and a hench man that'll fit their, trousers and bow tie and no shirt, because that's usually the
That's usually
Chippendale
the
look.
standard. Yeah.
They don't actually care what the performer can do. It's just about the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. And you see, and I do think sometimes people, we like to say that even in festivals, people don't get in on their aesthetic, they get in on their ability. But
Pretty privilege is definitely a thing.
pretty privilege is a thing.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And unfortunately, we are just as prone to it as anyone
Yeah.
else.
I think as well, though, it's important to acknowledge that, like, yes, burlesque is about like embracing and accepting yourself and who you are and but it's also how you want to present.
Yes.
And also, none of this shit is natural in the slightest.
No.
And again, there's that toxic thing of like, oh, it's real bodies. I'm like, we are covered in makeup. We are wearing false eyelashes. We're wearing wigs or things glued to things. We've got little sparkly things on our nipples. Your costumes are like, they're constructed in a way that is flattering if you want them to be, or unflattering if that's what you're, like, you have so much agency
Your
to
lighting, if you can, if
your
you get to, you
lighting.
get
Yeah,
to.
like, we have so much agency to curate our appearance to how we want to appear, and it's one of the things that again, since getting my surgery and being like, oh, I can actually like I can customize my avatar to the way that I want it to
Yeah.
be. I don't it isn't anti-burlesque to be like, oh, what I
No.
have is what I have to embrace.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be more heavily tattooed than I was, and it's only been the past year that I've gotten like more visible tattoos.
Mm.
And I feel more like I look more like the person that I've felt inside. And that's valid as well. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes people feel like, oh, well, because I don't look like that, but I want to look like that.
That's also fine. As long as you're
Yeah,
doing these things in a
for yourself.
for yourself in a safe manner as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah.
Like, don't be eating nothing and starving yourself and going to the gym all
Mm-hmm.
the time. That's not sustainable or smart or healthy. Um, there is nothing wrong with making you like if you want to be a certain way. Like I talk about how I go to the gym because it's about being fit and healthy. Side effect to that is yeah, my body's changing.
Yeah.
And that's cool, but like not the point in it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think there can be a toxicity to like the body acceptance or body positivity movement that's kind of like you have to be happy with what you have right now. No, you don't.
you can change it.
If you don't
No,
like it and you want to change it, then change it. But again, make sure that you're doing it in like a healthy way. And if there are, if there's mental health stuff that's behind that, maybe deal with that and then decide if actually is it the physical thing that you want to change. And some things don't matter. Like change your hair color or haircut, do it. Whatever.
yeah,
You can always go back. But like you say, things like starving yourself or trying to force your body to do things that it's just not built to do,
hmm.
you're just going to drive yourself crazy. And especially if you're only doing it to try and fit someone else's ideal.
I mean, look at one of my favorite things to talk about this is the Kardashians. Um, remember when one of them got a BBL and then everyone got BBLs? That
And
seems to be
I've
the
all
thing.
had them taken out.
Yeah, because that's no longer that was like the fashion then. They
Mm,
all had them removed now because the fashion is now smaller and slimmer. It's not curvy. It's not the hourglass anymore. It's changed.
yeah.
They can afford to do that. Are you changing your body to fit a fashion, or are you changing your body to be how you genuinely
Yeah.
want it to be? Because I think that's a question. Because if you look through the ages, the body that is considered the most attractive changes all the time. It's
Yeah.
doing it more rapidly these days, I feel, in a way that it's
Hmm.
never done in history before. But what is our body ideal? We talked about in the 90s when we grew up, it was heroin chic. That's back.
Yeah.
10 years ago, it was hourglass figures.
Yeah. There was a spell where it was like athletic,
Aha. It
like
was strong and
muscular.
muscly
Yeah.
and athletic. Yeah. Like, at no point can you be all of these. You cannot be changed. Like, your body's
No.
not going to, it doesn't work like that. So, I suppose, yeah, don't change your body for a trend. If you're going to change your body, make sure you're doing it for you. As you
Yeah.
said, your boob job was essentially gender affirming care.
It was. It completely was.
Hmm.
And like I say,
Which
I
is
know I know that it was because I haven't gone, oh, maybe you should have gone bigger. Or like I haven't wanted to reverse it because oh now, like I have gone up a clothing size because my chest is bigger.
yeah.
I don't have dysmorphia over that. That's fine.
Hmm.
Whereas for some people that would then be, especially because yeah, skinny is back. I'm no like it doesn't matter how much weight I lose elsewhere, that part of me is always going to be curvy
Hmm.
because silicone doesn't lose weight. Who knew?
What? This is
What?
brand new information.
um, but yeah, it's like taking care to be like, is this really something that you want for yourself and for the way that you identify, or is it something that's coming from like outside influences?
And again, if it's to do with how you look on stage, look into what you can do that's not. We've just talked about it, right? You can makeup. You can fucking completely change how your face looks like with makeup,
Yeah.
hair, wigs, tights. Like if you're wearing certain tights like suck you in, like get the good ones, the
Mm-hmm.
Caprizio ones are like
Mm-hmm.
um get a good made corset,
Yeah. That makes
makes you
such a
look like
difference.
your
Mm-hmm.
curves are like um work out what is flattering for what shapes and draperies and whatever is flattering for
Colors
your
as well,
figure.
even
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah.
I've gotten real nerdy about this recently, and it's come into my costumes where there's the whole thing about like color season analysis, where like some
Hmm.
of it I think is
Hmm.
bullshit, where they do this stupid like silver gold and they go, oh my god, what a difference. I'm like, shut up. Um, but like really looking at your colors and your contrast levels and figuring out really makes you shine, what makes you pop, what
Hmm.
makes you feel look and feel the best. Because often you perform better like when you're in a costume that you feel that you look your best in,
Hmm.
and make sure that it fits you. Like,
Hmm.
if you can go custom, go custom. If you can't, buy a size bigger and then get it altered down. Something that's well fitted is a game changer. Like, don't try and make yourself fit a size, get the stuff to fit you.
And also again talking about fads, like um if you look particularly at the Americans, and you and me do this as well, but a big fad is like tiny thongs.
Mm.
If that makes you uncomfortable, don't do it.
Yeah, do the big
Like,
pants. It's more space for rhinestones.
yeah, like do what genuinely makes you comfortable and
Mm-hmm.
look at like, what colors look good on your skin or with your makeup and all this kind of stuff as well. Like there's ways to control if it's purely about how you look on stage, there
Yeah.
is ways to manipulate that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, if you
Understand what effects lighting have on
Yep.
your face and your shape
Hmm.
and what it highlights, what it hides.
Because what color is it that's horrific? Is it red that makes you look really bad, or is it blue? It's one of them.
Red flattens everything, so does
Mm-hmm.
blue kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Green makes everybody look ill, which is great if you want like a spooky effect.
Yeah, but it does. I'm pretty sure there's photos of me somewhere, and one of them's in red and one of them's in blue, and I can't remember what it is, but one of them I look like 100 years old, and it's because of the lighting.
Side lights
Uh,
are great for like highlighting shapes
yeah.
and curves because
Mm-hmm.
you get more shadows, whereas front light kind of illuminates everything.
Mm,
It can make you look flatter or bigger.
mm-hmm.
Whereas, yeah,
It's
if you've
something
got
you don't have any
less,
control over the lights, which is a completely different thing as well. But like
yeah,
then you
we're
need
like
to be
when you
aware.
have control.
It's not all the time. And then if you're looking, and that's another thing I said earlier, look at your photos when you're in a good brain state. I am at the point now where I've
Mm,
been doing this for too long that I can look at photos no matter what I'm doing or feeling or whatever. I can be very detached from it. But that's a brain space that takes a while to have.
yeah.
I don't know if you're the same. Like even when I'm going to like do a photo shoot and I get the photos, I can look at them, it's fine. But
Hmm.
like I definitely wasn't like that at the start. I would immediately be picking things.
Yeah. Yeah. It is something, again, I guess you just get used to seeing lots of images of yourself. And I think you
Yeah, do you think it's
also,
just
maybe,
desensitized? We just get
but I
desensitized.
think, but I think also you develop a bit of a filter, right? And you understand that like there's always going to be, especially stage shots, there's going to be like awkward in between movements. There's going to be, say you're getting down to the floor, so your belly's being squished, but in the next move, you're in this gorgeous reclining
Mhm.
goddess pose. You learn to like not feel too bad about the ones where you are not perfectly posed to show off your body at the best, and you just don't fucking post them if you don't like them. But yeah, and with a photo shoot as well, you'll know that like maybe you're making an awkward face, maybe you're like about to sneeze, maybe you're mid blink, maybe you're adjusting something, or you're trying a pose and that pose didn't really work.
Mhm.
Rather than being like, "Ugh, I look awful. I don't like this. I don't like that." You kind of go, "Okay, we won't do that again, but this looks great." Do you know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
I've
You
stopped.
kind of get to understand that like not every photo looks amazing, but that
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you look bad. It's just like, okay, we don't like that picture, whatever.
and that's fine. And things like I don't look at my photos anymore and be like, oh, I don't like. oh no, you can see that like the underwear is digging into me, and you're like, well,
Mm,
yeah, because that's how it's staying up.
yeah, it would
Let's
fall
be
off
practical.
otherwise.
Let's be practical here. Like I'm
Mhm.
squishy. That's where it's holding on. But it's hard. I do think in some ways being in burlesque has made me a little bit kinder. I am a little bit more, yeah, that's just how bodies work.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. Um, but it's definitely at the start for me, it was very easy to get sucked into this is how I need to. But then it was just triggering old
Yeah.
stuff for me.
I feel as well, though, again, we were talking about the audience, but even with ourselves, looking at the way that we look at other performers,
Hmm.
that I'm like, say I've got, the insecurity about my stomach. I look at someone with a bigger, softer stomach and be like, she looks amazing, and then that actually makes me a bit kinder to myself
Yeah.
because
Or
I'm
even
like,
just
all
seeing
of,
someone at the top of their game that
yeah.
isn't flat stomached
Hmm.
and they're up there performing, that makes me feel better because I'm like, oh, okay, she's also got the pouch that I have. The
Yeah.
pouch and what's that called? My pouch.
The bulge.
Um, like she's got that as well, and she's like on behalf or
Yeah.
something. Do you know what I mean? So like that makes me feel better. So like if that makes me feel better, I must make someone else feel better.
Yeah. I think again it's like it's recognizing that we're our own worst critics and we're harsher to ourselves than we are to anyone else. Because again, looking at someone with the same or maybe a more emphasized version of an insecurity that you have and being like, they look amazing.
Mm.
So then you kind of are like, oh, if they look amazing, why can't I do that for myself?
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It does sort of ease that away sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
very
think that's so
healthy to
much
see a
about
large spectrum of bodies.
I want to see everything. And
And
also
it makes you realize that like the shape and the size of the body isn't important, it's what they're doing.
100%. As I was going to say, I feel like so much of it is down to confidence. If you go out on that stage and
Mm,
you're confident as fuck,
yeah.
I'm just enjoying your act. I'm not looking at your body or being like, oh, look at that squishy bit. I'm too busy being like,
Yeah.
what's she doing? What's happening? What's going on? What comes off next?
Yeah. Unless someone is like, I don't know, has, is incredibly chiseled or like has some very unique feature about them. Maybe they've got a crazy hair color, or maybe they've got like the biggest boobs you've ever seen in your life, or like the most perfectly round butt.
Yeah.
I'm rarely looking at a burlesque act and noticing the body or like, yeah. And again, it's not like I wouldn't look at other people and pick apart their flaws. I might be like, those legs are incredible, or like, look at her
Like, oh my God, her legs
boobs.
go on for days.
Yeah. So, like, why don't we do that for ourselves?
Because we're the worst. Duh!
But again, I think the more burlesque you watch and you realize how you watch it as an observer, is that you're not putting that lens onto other people. So, actually, the audience isn't doing it to us.
Mm-mm.
And I think that's a very important thing to recognize. And again, I think coming back to the like, the stage is not your therapy. If you can't get to that place, perhaps consider how much you should be on stage until you can accept yourself and embrace yourself in that way
Yeah, as I just said,
and
going on to
project that
stage,
confidence. Yeah.
going on to like the example I gave earlier, going on to stage when you've got a massive like dysmorphic episode or something is not it you don't do a good act. You don't do
Yeah.
a good performance. Like you
And the
just
thing is,
don't.
we all have bad days, and like the show must go on. What were you going to do? Be like, sorry, I'm having a bad day, I can't go on. But if that's something that's the norm for you, then I think that's when you need to examine, actually, is this what you should be doing? Or, maybe just enjoy classes for a little while and not have the pressure of the spotlight.
Yeah, for me that particular example was right, okay, I'm gonna have to get rid of this because
That
it's
was like a
not
turning
working.
point for you.
It was me realizing, right, I just need to get this shit dissolved because
Yeah,
it's like if it's going to impact me that much in that moment, like, because yes, it had been bothering me beforehand on the odd days and stuff, but it had
yeah.
never been that bad.
And that was a physical thing that you had recognized, that you were like, I can change this because I've changed it one way. I'm going to change it back.
Change it
Do you know what
back.
I
And then
mean?
I was like, ah, my face isn't that bad. I'll just use contour.
Do you know what I mean? And you only had that insecurity because you had changed your face. So you were
Yeah.
like, okay, I know exactly what it is that I need to do to change it. I think the danger is when it's something that somebody has always dealt with and they're hoping that burlesque will improve it. It's
Yeah.
like, it may help a little bit, but like there's more work to be done, and you're actually doing yourself a disservice by keep putting yourself in that environment that makes you feel shit.
Yeah.
Like, if it's
Yeah.
not making you feel good, or, you know, some people do this purely as a job. If you cannot at least make peace with it enough to go out there and do a good job, regardless of how you feel, then
Hmm.
yeah, is this the right place for you? And that's not meant to sound like exclusionary. It's just anyone can engage with burlesque, but we all engage with it at different levels. Not everybody has to be a professional performer.
Hmm.
And for
And
some people,
accepting
this
as well
stuff,
that like your body will, we talked about your body changes in your
mm,
30s. Your body fucking changes all the time.
all the time.
As a woman, your weight fluctuates constantly. Your measurements can just change, like your body composition can change.
Yeah,
Um, like as we talked about, your boobs can get saggier or whatever. Like you kind of have to, if you're going to consistently put yourself on stage, you kind of have to come to terms with the fact that if you've been doing this for 20 years, you're not gonna, in 20 years' time, you're not gonna look at the photos that you did when you started and you're gonna look the same. Like that's not
yeah.
realistic.
Even like you say, especially as, you know, people who have a menstrual cycle, like I go from my worst body to my best body in like 4 days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you're like, oh my God, I'm so bloated, I'm huge, and then like a week later, you're like, I am so skinny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
look,
love
I look
I
so
love
good.
I love getting my period the week before a big gig,
Hmm.
because I'm like, great, I'm gonna hit the best days.
You're like, I'm gonna look so
So
fucking
good.
good.
Whereas if I have a big gig the week running up to it, I'm like, fuck. Because I'll be bloated, I'll be tired, my
Hmm.
balance is off. It's not even just how my body looks, it's how it feels. I'm
My
aware of
balance is,
everything. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, get the straps off me. Ugh.
I am. I'm just really. I'm much more clumsy. I
Yeah.
am definitely much more
No one
clumsy.
talks about that. Oh my god, what the fuck is that?
It's so bad. Like
I'm
we
so
were.
wobbly on my heels and like,
I'm not even my fucking heels. We were in Greece in April, and I got my period literally the day we flew out
mm.
because, of course, I fucking did. First 3 days I was there, I fucking cunted it down some stairs, like
Oh yes, I remember you telling me this.
did massive back poos. Um, Came out the shower, fell. Did some my balance was normally things that I would like slip and be able to like maybe fix myself or
Hmm.
like I'd be a much more aware of my feet. Clumsy as fuck.
Yeah,
I just have my spatial awareness and my
I drop everything.
mm,
I was working like the day before and day one of my period this month, and I was
mhm.
fucking dropping the nurses were like, what, are you okay today? And I was just like, it's just that time, okay, I can't
I
hold
just
on
have
to anything.
I have no spatial awareness
Yeah,
and I have my balance is fucked.
yeah,
Completely fucked. And this is yeah, we don't talk about that. You've got a show you still have to go on
yeah, and do the
and
best you
do it.
can. But yeah, if you're a bit wobbly, or if, you know, you fumble something, if it's that time and you know that that happens, just, or, you know, maybe do some thinking, is that something that happens? Cut yourself some slack, because your body's just doing its own fucking thing, and there's only so much you can do
Your
about
body's
that.
having a temper tantrum because it's not with child.
Literally. I'm just like, I'm fine with this, can you be?
Yeah.
We're
every month.
happy, we're vibing. Can we just not be like,
Ev- Every month it's like, well, I decorated in here and now there's nothing, so I'm going to tear it all down. And you're
yeah,
like, thanks,
I
thanks.
didn't ask you to, but sure.
Wait. You couldn't just wait another few days? No, no. But yeah, that's definitely something that we don't talk about enough. Like people say like, oh, I've got my period or whatever. But
Mm,
yeah, you don't think about how it impacts you more than just how you look or feel. Like if you get bloated or you get really bad cramps or whatever,
yeah.
it's also your actual ability on stage is
Yeah,
impacted.
energy levels and balance and all that kind of thing.
My skin goes to shit during my period
Oh
as
my
well,
God. No,
actually.
it's the week running up for me is like the worst. And day one. Like once I get past day one, I feel much better.
Mm.
But the week running up, like I'll get a massive breakout or I had a big flare up of eczema on my face,
Oh,
which I don't normally get. It was like right here and it was really bad. And I thought I was allergic to something. And then it just gradually got a bit better. And then I got my period and I was like, oh, great. That's new.
you know, other things they don't talk about, just like in your body in general. I've said this to you, but like I over the past 6 months have had an increase in freckles and moles on my
Mm.
body. Like massive increase. I've always had them, but it's insane. Apparently that can just you can get more freckles and moles up until the age of 40.
Oh, did not
And
know that was a
apparently
thing.
it can really it commonly happens in your late 30s.
Hmm. Because again, I
I
feel like
was
we're
like,
we're almost told that like you're an adult at 18 and then that is your body
and you're like,
and
no,
your skin and your whatever and you just stay the same or you should stay the same and it's like that's not
except women go
realistic.
through like a second period, a second what's the word I'm looking
Puberty.
for? Puberty in like their 30s.
Yeah.
And then obviously you get perimenopause and menopause, which is hurtling towards us. Um, so
You're just
yeah,
in
it's
flux
constant
all the time.
all the time. And then you're trying to like navigate these consistently changing beauty standards and
Yeah.
expectations and yeah, what you see around you. And the thing is, like, we're talking about from our perspective of mid-sized bodies, and obviously
Mm.
there's people there that are plus size. But there's people out there that are really skinny that are like, well, I'm not getting work because there's so many other people that look like me as well, or it's really hard to differentiate yourself, or like they'll all have like everyone's got
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. And like it's great that we have variety. Wouldn't it be
Hmm.
boring if we all looked the same?
Oh God, can you imagine?
But yeah, I think that's important to we this is kind of circling back to the start, isn't it? That we all have struggles and we all have privilege,
Hmm.
and it doesn't something that you're struggling with doesn't negate somebody else's struggles because they don't have that.
Hmm.
But there's
But also,
things
if
to be
you're feeling like this, and please, like, if you're struggling with something or you're looking at something or you think, what about this, what about that, chances are fucking every single person
mm-hmm.
around you has got something going on. They maybe have just been in the game long enough to know how to put it in a box until after the show, because I feel like that's
Yeah.
probably what most of us do.
And also, again, we touched on this, but like embrace the whole thing of burlesque is like visual curation and you have the
Hmm.
opportunity to present yourself in the absolute best way that you possibly can.
Hmm.
And I think, especially if you are plus size or very skinny, or maybe you have a body proportions that are really difficult to like, you can't just walk into a shop and buy underwear and it's going to fit you and look nice. Learn how to adapt things, like learning how to sew. We always talk about this, learn how to sew. Even
Hmm.
if it's just so that you can buy something off the rack and then modify it if you don't have the budget to go to somebody who can make you something professionally, or learn to actually make your own, especially underwear. I feel like that's such a
Hmm.
valuable skill,
Yeah.
and it's changed the game for me to be able to make underwear that fits me perfectly, but that also, because it's me making it, I can test it and tweak it and try out different shapes and different, like, where do the
Hmm.
straps go that makes everything look the way that I want it to look. because then you've really got an opportunity to like make yourself look the best that you possibly can be. You don't have to, and don't copy other people's costumes again for that reason. It might look great on them, but they're a different body type to you.
Yeah.
So go with different shapes, different fabrics, different textures, different colors. Find the stuff that you're like, yeah, I look fucking banging in. This is how I want to look.
Yeah, I love a high waist thong because I actually
Mm,
like I have quite my hips to waist ratio. I'm basically a pear, so like it looks quite good. Like I can pull my waist in and it makes my waist look smaller, and I
yeah.
have like quite large hips. So having the high waist like pulls that in and shows it more that
Mm-hmm.
that's a smaller waist.
Yeah.
But getting people to make them is quite hard. So like I had to
Mm,
learn to make them myself, and it
yeah.
works really nicely.
I've embraced the diagonal.
Nice.
I'm quite straight up and down in the middle. I don't have a lot, like
Mm,
I don't have a really defined waist. So stuff that horizontal lines aren't
yeah.
very helpful for me. So if it is high waisted, it has to be like a V front.
Yeah, that's me. It has to be, it's a big V front and it cuts
Yeah,
up, but then it's like slings over my hips, up the top of my hips, like basically on my waist, and
yeah,
it accentuates my
yeah,
hips and
yeah.
accentuates my waist.
Either coming up higher, like crossing on the sides, or like a
Mhm.
diagonal that comes from like the back of the thong all the way up to like the
Mm,
boobs. Then you get that nice. It kind of just does this around your waist, so it creates more of a curve.
yeah,
If you want that, if you want to look more, thicker in the middle, which some people do, then, go for more horizontals. Like, yeah, learn about
yeah,
how different shapes impact the way things look and then decide how you want to present and what's going to
yeah.
work for you.
Because that it makes a massive difference. Just being
Such a
able to
massive
tweak and
difference.
play,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of work out what looks right on your body, what doesn't, what makes you feel comfortable as
Yeah,
well.
that's so important.
Um, yeah. I feel like I don't have anything else to yap about with this one.
No, I feel like we could go on forever, but it's also kind of just going over the same things, which is our, I guess, to summarize, we all have different bodies, and that's
Hmm.
great. All bodies should be celebrated. Unfortunately, certain parts of the industry have yet to catch up.
Yeah.
However, don't change your body to fit an ideal, but don't be scared to change your body if it's going to make you happier and feel more you.
Hmm. I
And
feel
yeah,
like that was a
use
nice little summary.
costuming.
Yeah,
Thanks, I
plus
try.
plus learn costuming, which we always fucking yap about anyway.
Yeah.
Pluggables, you have a show in September.
September 6th, Clandestine Cabaret. I wonder who could be in the cast. This will be hilarious if we've announced already.
I know. You kind of have to announce by this point. We're like,
Yeah, I'll just make it happen.
I come to a visit. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else from. Hmm, I don't think so. Uh, I don't think there's any particular pluggables from myself. Oh, when this goes out, you and me are performing in
Yes,
Glasgow.
I will be back in G Town, Las
Yeah, both
Vegas.
both doing riding rooms on the Friday night, the 23rd.
4? 20, around the 24th, whatever the Friday is.
Whatever the Friday is, we will both be at riding rooms.
And I will have
Um,
the Coven in tow because we're doing Mon the Troops just outside of Glasgow
on the Saturday.
on the Saturday.
You guys are doing that, so get tickets
Hmm.
for that. So yeah, the gang are going to be up in Glasgow, which is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's a rare chance to catch us.
It is a rare chance to catch us. Oh, cool. So are
Mm.
the Coven are going to be at riding room. Oh, I'm going to have the best night.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I'm going to
fun.
have the most fun. I'm going to have the most fun. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'll probably be kicking about at Fringe in August, but I don't know what the plans are for that yet. I'll
We will
be
see.
around. We'll look out at the socials for announcements on that.
Yes.
Um, Sweet. That's us. Thanks for listening to us ramble as always, gang, and
Yeah.
we will see you next month.
Bye.